Hi, привет, Kiev. Привет, комбратstiev, yeah, I fucked that up. So this is the part 2 of the terminology video. Close it cut off. And it does say now I have 38 minutes to record this one. 38 minutes of space. So that's plenty enough for the second part here. I'm not going to use all that. So that's good. No shite, I'm speaking. don't share that, no. So I was cutting off an intersex. So it could be people who biologically are not female or male, or they could be people who are biologically a mix of both. Examples of that are people who have one ovary, people who have one testicle sometimes. There are people who their genitalia looks like a mix between the two. There are people who look completely male and have ovaries, or ones who look completely female and don't have ovaries. Those are all included in intersex. I'll consider it intersex. My English isn't the best. So those are all included in that. So someone who could not, they may not even look like a certain gender. They may not even look like they're intersex, and they could be. So to keep that in mind. Also, certain thing about intersex is that if they identify as anything other than what they biologically are, then they are considered trans. Which it's basically impossible not to be for them. It is a thin line. Technically, I suppose you could identify as neither or both. And I'm sure there's some that are. I've never seen them. I've seen some neithers, but I haven't seen any both, really. And that all depends on, what you biologically are. Just because you're intersex doesn't mean you are biologically neither. So identifying as neither does not necessarily mean, you are cis. It could still mean you are trans. And you can identify as anything when you're intersex. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm intersex and I have neither. And I identify as male. So that makes me trans. Example there, I was born with neither genitalia. I'm not really ashamed to admit that. Neither genitalia, and my body didn't have any hormones really releasing, or very, very little hormones releasing, if anything. Which is why genitalia never formed. So actually when I was born, they had to do surgery to grant me a way to, use the bathroom. And during that, my mom was given the choice of a male or female, and she chose female. So, my story is interesting that I am intersex biologically. I am physically female, but I identify as male. So it's a whole thing where I'm having to, do reverse surgeries to get back to, it would have been easier if I was just male from the start, Well, now I have to, reverse the female ones that my mother chose. And when I hit puberty, my body started releasing testosterone and growing facial hair and stuff like that. And it wasn't enough to fully look male, but it was clearly enough that my voice was getting deeper, that I had an Adam's apple, things like that. And I started identifying as male around that time too. So I still have to do injections, like a lot of transgender people have to do, or transsexual, depending on your line there. But I do have some naturally, so it's a little weird there. It keeps starting to rain, and I turn on my wipers, and then it stops. So it's like, do you need the wipers or not? Okay. So that's a little tidbit into my biology there, for people who want to know. Otherwise, it's a little weird, I suppose. But part of the experience, a lot of people have never heard of intersex, or never actually seen an intersex person. Or they assume intersex is the same as identifying as neither gender, and that's not the case. It's actually a biological difference between them, and it's a very broad category. It's anyone who's not completely female or completely male biologically. So even the slightest bit of difference, you're intersex. So it's a very interesting category there. Yeah, now it's raining again. Is it going to stay raining if I turn on my wipers fully and not just doing a hand wipe? Not really. Whatever, it's doing something. just going to keep them on. So that's the intersex thing there. I also mentioned gender fluid, which, if I didn't mention, it's included. I think I mentioned it. Gender fluid is when your gender is fluid, so to speak. You do not always feel like you are one gender over the other. Sometimes you feel like kind of a mix between them, or a bit of neither. But the fact of the matter is that your gender has to change. It could be daily, it could be yearly, like this year you're male and the next year you feel more female, or it could be a few weeks, it could be months, it could be anything, as long as it does actually change. You are gender fluid. For the longest time I thought I was gender fluid, and then I realized I had no intention of ever dressing as female again. You know, I thought, maybe I'm just in a male phase, so to speak. And I would go back. Well, it never went back, so sorry. Sorry for people who I'm like negating their gender fluid. It does not necessarily mean you are going to stay one gender or the other. In fact, it doesn't mean you are going to stay one gender or the other. That's like the opposite of what it means. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. The fuck is the wind so bad? I don't know. I get distracted easily, if you guys haven't told. If you're new to my channel, then I get distracted very easily. Jeez. Worse so when I'm driving, which is most of my videos. I'm not the most responsible driver. Right now I'm going under the speed limit because the person in front of me is going slow. So, I might have mentioned more, I'm not sure if I did. Well, anyway, if I missed one, please let me know in the comments. If I mentioned something and then I forgot to explain it, please let me know. So the next term I'm going to focus on is, unfortunately, we have to talk about TERFs, which is a big thing on the internet lately. An anti-trans thing that is it is definitely growing in popularity, both to talk about an insult and to be a part of. A lot of people who are TERFs believe we are insulting them by calling them that, even though it is literally the definition there. So what it stands for is Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist, which is a big mouthful there, so we say TERFs. And they are people who, radical feminists, are those who believe that males are not good, females are like above everyone else, whereas regular feminism is everyone is equal. So radical is like female is above everyone. And trans inclusionary is there. They don't include trans women as part of the female population. So it is fully biological women that they include. So it's a pretty easy to understand term. They're trans exclusionary radical feminists, and I'm sure you've heard that term a lot online lately. So I wanted to kind of explain what that one is. Of course, trans people are in uproar about it. And then there's all the fight back of, well, they're not biologically female, and it starts a whole big thing there about how can you even tell if someone's biologically female, and loads of fun stuff there that I'm not going to be getting into. Well, now you know what the term means, at least, and what people are that are part of that. So now to the fun stuff. I wanted to start with the male presenting ones because that's what I know best. And these are essentially the tools that someone who is trans and focuses more on the male side uses. Sometimes people who focus on the neither side or both use these as well. Well, it's not something that the feminine side uses, female side uses. commonly known as the binder. That is essentially something that binds your chest, a binder. It makes your chest appear flat, so you do not appear to have any boobs. There's ways people do this. They use a lot of times, unfortunately, you hear about people using ace bandages or bandages in general. Do not do this. It is very deadly, actually, and can cause permanent damage to the point if you ever want to have surgery, it cannot be done. Because your chest, your skin, and the ribs itself will be too damaged to do that. Because essentially what they do, ace bandages, the design, oh my gosh, all these trees are frozen. Awesome. Ace bandages are designed to tighten as things expand, to help with swelling. You know, if you start swelling on like your ankle or something, they're designed to tighten it back to reduce the swelling, you know, and let your body heal. Well, your chest swells when you breathe, as you can assume. It goes out. So, by tightening that, it makes it harder to breathe. And then the more you breathe, the more it gets tight. And I'm sure you can see what happens there. Also, have you ever used ace bandages at all? Or any type of bandage? That's just the brand name there. You notice that they leave not only a sticky residue, but they also leave a pretty bad looking mark. That's why you're not really supposed to use it very long. Even on like an ankle or something. They leave like a really gross red mark, and it's deep in grade, and it looks really bad. Like it takes at least a few days before that goes away. Because of that, you know, you're causing physical damage, you're causing cave-in on your chest. Not good. Some people try to combat that by wearing a sports bra, so it flattens them a little bit, and then wearing ace bandages on top. So it's not actually touching their skin, but it still tightens, guys. Do not do that. Do not. If you ever even see a trans person in the media, they're always using that, like any sort of show. Like, Degrassi unfortunately uses that method, and probably a few others, but like any movie I've ever seen with a trans male uses the bandages. Don't do that. The non-sticky kind, I would still say don't use them. They don't work well enough to even consider, and they can come unraveled, and that'd be really embarrassing in public. So don't do that. What you should do is use an actual official binder. There are many different brands there. GTB2 and GTB are the most common, popular ones. Underworks is also a big popular brand. And there's many different types. There's ones that fasten on the side, so you put it in almost like a shirt. It's like you're putting on a button-up shirt sideways kind of thing. There is some that fasten on the back, so like a bra kind of thing. There are some that don't fasten at all, and you pull them over your head. There are some that you're supposed to step into and pull up. So make sure to read which one you got. If it's not a fasten one, make sure to read you're supposed to go over your head or over your, you're supposed to step it in. Because that will stretch the fabric if it's meant to go over your head. Keep that in mind. There's ones that go all the way down to your waist. There's ones that cut off right underneath your chest. So it's like a sports bra type mentality there. Oh my gosh. It's like we had a blizzard or something. Everything's all white. I knew, like, it snowed really bad, but, like, holy shite. For everyone who's not in Texas, they're probably like, it's winter, of course things are white, the trees are white, and there's no actual physical snow or anything. It's just that the branches have ice on them now, and there's no leaves, which is, it's anywhere. Oh, the power lines are frozen. I feel like that's going to cause some big issues. They're not broken, but I've never seen power lines actually freeze. I feel like we're going to lose power or something. Yeah. I've already lost radio, so that's why that's not on right now. I try not to have it on when I'm recording anyway. Sorry, my voice is cracking a lot. I need this. It's already gotten cold. You guys made my drink get cold. Jeez. So, many different types of binders and such. They come in billions of different colors, probably. I have one that's purple, one that's red, one that's blue, one that matches my skin tone, one that's black. You know, I have a bunch of them. It depends on the brand for which colors they offer. But there is a buttload of colors that you can get. I had a white one for the longest time. It was a fast on the side one. They also go by many different names. If you're buying them, like, on... My first one I bought was on eBay. Yeah, eBay. And it actually said it was called Lesbian Sports Bra. It's a binder. If you're looking for any Asian thing, it's almost always called lesbian/tomboy. Sometimes both, sometimes one or the other. That's what they call their binders. I think it's a translation error, and since one person did it, everyone's like, oh, copy and paste kind of thing. So, be prepared for that if you're looking for something along those methods. Also, be prepared, Asian sizes are a lot smaller than other sizes if you're buying in, like, America. Asian sizes are a lot smaller. For example, I wear a small binder in American sizes, but I wear an extra large in Asian sizes. The Asian ones are also really cheap. They're usually about $2, whereas the American ones are usually $65 or $70. So there's a big difference there of why you'd want to do it. The price is explanatory there, in that they don't hold up very much. Usually they only work for about a month or so, and then you have to get a new one. Because they're really tight to begin with, and then every time you wash it or wear it, it starts stretching out a little bit, and then eventually it's not hiding anything. So usually only lasts a month at most. So, in the long run, the American ones are better. In the long run, American ones are better, price-wise, but right up front, they're really expensive. I remember I had about, 6 or 7 Asian ones, before I got my first American one. Probably more than that. But I had a lot. They're cheap, and I've always been taught to go for the cheapest thing. In this case, it is not the best deal, so keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, most American ones do not have the buttons on the side, or any sort of latch. They're always the ones you step into or pull over your head. They might have some of the other kind. I have not seen them. I've only seen the Asian ones that have the fasteners on the side or the back. The American ones usually are the ones that either cut off or go down to your waist, and you either step into or they pull over your head. There's no real fastens in these ones. Jeez, I hope it's open today. I'm almost out of gas. I was going to get them yesterday, and the gas stations were all closed because the pumps were frozen. So, really hope they're open today. My gas light's about to turn on. I kind of need it, you know. I go through full tank of gas 2-3 times a week because I drive an hour to work. So, yeah, that's something. And that's going like 70-something miles an hour. So, if I was going slower, it would be probably about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours drive. So that's something that to keep in mind. So that's about the mileage of, and which is weighing on my car here. Let me look at the miles one day. I think it's 35 miles. I'm not sure. But whatever. I hate this town. It's one town there's ways to turn onto the street. Both sides in like every inch. And people don't even look. They just turn right on the street, and it's crazy. Okay. If you know what town I'm talking about, there's probably a lot that are this way. We're talking about Jacksonville. So if you live here, shame on you. No, Jacksonville's about 15 minutes from my work, so can't make this video too much longer. So that's a binder. Might need the whole 30 minutes on. The other one that a lot of trans men do not use, because it's very expensive. It's usually, the cheapest one I ever saw was 150 maybe, and they usually go up to a few thousand. So very, very expensive things. Yeah, they are Packers. No, I'm not talking about the football team. Green Bay, right? I don't know my football, but I think that's right. But Packers are essentially flaccid dildos, is a nice way to put it. They are a fake penis. Sometimes they look like a penis, sometimes they don't. Some people just stuff socks down there. Whatever it is, it makes you have a bulge in your crotch, so it looks like you have a dick. Very safe to say. Looks like you have a penis. There are ones, which is what I have, that have sort of a funnel type system. You hold it against your crotch and you urinate through it, and as a result, it funnels through and it goes into the toilet, so it's like you're using a penis to pee standing up. There are also ones like that that don't look like a penis. They just seriously look like essentially a funnel. Those are called STP, stand to pee. If they look like a penis, then they can also be considered a packer. If they don't, then I don't think they can, because the funnel won't actually make you have a bulge, really, unless it folds somehow. I've never used that kind. I had very bad experience with my STP. I paid a lot of money for it. It took forever to get here. It was hand carved and everything for me, like hand molded and stuff. I tried to match my skin tone. Like, they took a lot of effort into it. It looked pretty good. It didn't, maybe practice to make it better, but it just essentially made it pretty hard to actually use the bathroom. And I didn't like the packer because it felt weird against my leg. It just felt sticky and gross and sweaty, and I didn't like that. I bet you all the cis guys out there are like, yeah, but that's what a penis feels like. What? I don't know. So I didn't like that much, but there's a lot of people to use them. Most people I've seen, or at least that I've met, if they use a packer, they also use a binder. But if they use a binder, they don't always use a packer. Part of that's the price difference, I'm guessing. Part of it's also just, you know, you wear baggy pants, no one's gonna tell. But, also, if you need to go to the bathroom, you have to kind of like take it out and set it aside, and it's admittedly gross because it's been in your crotch, so, you know, you don't want to like lay it on anything, especially in a public bathroom. Oh, so it's harder to use stuff. But I used socks for a little bit when I first came out, and I didn't like that either. I kept getting UTIs, so keep that in mind, guys. So now we'll go to the female parts for trans females, or feminine appearance, for those who are more neutral or both. And for them, the main thing that, we'll start with the packer mentality. They have a gaff. I'm not sure why it's called a gaff, but it is. It is, sometimes it's an insert, but most of the time it's actual underwear. That, the way it's shaped, helps to essentially tuck in your penis, and it has a little groove in the front to look like a vagina. I'm assuming in case it shows through like skinny jeans, I can understand why you're hiding the penis, but I don't really understand the whole vagina mentality. Maybe so if someone like lifts up your skirt, it actually looks like you have something there. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just more so you feel comfortable being able to look down and be like, yeah, I'm a girl. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not trans female, so I don't understand that, but I do know the terms. The next one is simply called silicone inserts, or breast inserts. And as you can assume, they are, sometimes they're attached to like a bra mentality. Other times they're actually something you add into it. And they're essentially rubber. Sometimes they actually look like they have a nipple and stuff, and sometimes they don't. But you either stuff them into a bra, become part of a bra, or they're the ones that stick onto your chest. And they're basically just boobs. They're like a bulge of fat, which is what a boob is. So they are ways you can have boobs. Also, some women do not use them, especially if they've started hormones, because from what I heard, they're pretty uncomfortable, which binding is too. So anything chest-wise is always uncomfortable. But it's also because as you start hormones, you actually start to develop breast tissue. So it kind of like hits on them weird, from what I heard, and you know, makes them chafing. It's pretty uncomfortable. Plus, you start to actually grow something, so you can actually wear a bra and, you know, be that way. That's just from the people I've met. Again, I don't know every trans woman, obviously. That's just from the trans women I've met. It's like Winter Wonderland. I'm sorry, I'm just so amazed by the ice on the trees. It's so amazing. It's 26 here right now, which in Texas, anything under 75 is considered freezing. So this is, wow. As soon as I wipe, something falls down. That sounded bad. I meant like I used my windshield wiper and then it started raining as soon as I like stopped using it. So you get on to me. There it goes. Great, since I'm gonna have to get out of my car soon, it starts raining. Hear how horrible those wipers sound? They sound horrible. That's how much it rains here, that they're like worn out within like a month. It's horrible. It's horrible. You know what I mean. I had pizza and everything in here I was gonna eat on my drive, and you guys distracted me, you know. I didn't think it was gonna take that long, but it is probably one of my longer videos for the subject. So, those are the binding tools, essentially. There's also the more typical ones I've mentioned a lot, like top surgery, which I'm getting recently. It is a mastectomy. In most cases, a bilateral mastectomy. And it is for people who identify more as male, or masculine appearance, or neutral a lot of times too. And as you can assume, it's a top surgery. There also is a top surgery for people who identify more as female, but those are not mastectomies. Those are essentially breast implants. They are breast implants, not essentially. They are. So they're both considered top surgery. It's more of a trans term for making your top half look the way you want it to. So top surgery is fairly simple to understand there. And then bottom surgery, you can assume what that one means. For trans men, it's called a pedoplasmy, I believe is the proper pronunciation. My English isn't that good, I'm sorry. Some words I struggle on. But, essentially that one's it. I'm not sure the actual procedure is called for females. I kind of only study my own then. But top and bottom is what they essentially are called. So if you guys think of any more terms you want to know about that I haven't mentioned, please feel free to ask me in the comments or on my Twitter, and I will add them to another video, or I will answer you right there in the comments or on Twitter, wherever you say anything to me. So I feel like it's probably a bunch I missed, and I can't think of right off the top of my head right now. So anyway, I'm almost at work, and I can't have my phone on at work. You know, HIPAA violations and all that. So, TF Call, I'm signing off. Bye.